I still wanted to add something to my previous video, well, audio, because I talked about, how basically big tech now is acting like a socialist dictatorship, telling you what to think and to believe and what to say and so on. They determine what is truth for you. They tell you what the truth is and what you should think. That's how truth, quote unquote truth, was determined in Eastern Germany as well. When it's just that now it's big tech. In Eastern Germany, the party, the Socialist Party, determined, what the truth was. Now big tech determines what the truth is and what you have to believe. And people who live under such a regime, be it Eastern Germany or be it big tech, those who buy into that, they buy into that because they have a very twisted sense of truth and of right and wrong. For them, truth is whatever the authority, be it the party, the government, or big tech, tells you. And they think that, if such an authoritative figure tells you something, that must be the truth. That was very much the thinking of my grandparents who grew up in the Third Reich. I think they actually kind of knew that, just because the party tells you something, that doesn't make it truth. They kind of knew that, but they just pushed that away. They wanted it to be the truth, so as to stay safe, because they knew they would get censored and punished and so on if they disagreed, right? So they just forced themselves to believe that whatever the authority told them was the truth, and that was their attitude. That's how they were raised. Sort of is also, in a way, that's also what Facebook and what big tech does. That's the criteria for what is true as well, right? So, like, if you click on the fact checkers and so on, the fact checkers that that big tech relies on and provides you with, they don't actually have facts. They just say something is a fact, not because they would show you the actual fact. They're not like, oh, look, here we have a video proving that this person did this and that, and here we have this kind of judgment by such and such judge, court, whatever. They don't actually show you the actual evidence. And here this photo proves this and that. No. Have you ever seen the fact checker actually, do that, actually showing you the facts? No. They just tell you this and that statement is a fact, and then if you click on it, it doesn't actually show you any facts. It just shows you that statement. That statement is pretty much unsupported by evidence, and if you really try to dig into it and show, and click like 5 times, on what the source is there, all it says is like source CNN, And so it doesn't even provide you with any facts or any evidence or anything. It just says, no, it just makes such and such statement. Like, for example, Biden is the new president. It just makes a statement like that. Or so and so is a Nazi. It just makes a statement like that. Boom. And it doesn't actually back it up with anything other than this statement is based on something CNN said, or this statement is based on something MSNBC said, and even though they actually didn't even say that in most cases, it's just kind of, well, in most cases it's paraphrasing. In most cases, in most cases you could imply that they might not have said that exact sentence, but they implied something similar, right? But that's how their facts work. If a company that they regard as authoritative, like MSNBC, implies something similar that isn't even the exact same, but just implies something similar, then it's a fact. It's still the same logic. It's a fact if a big company tells you that it is, if it is, even if it isn't actually supported by facts, because most of the time, if you really try to look for actual facts and see, well, what is the actual evidence they have for that, it turns out in most cases they actually don't have any evidence. It's just, well, this authoritative company said so, Dominion voting machines said that their voting machines are reliable, so that's a fact then, That's the extent that their fact-checking reaches. And this actually only works, you can only believe them if you actually don't know anything about the topic, If you haven't done your own research and don't know about whatever issue it may be, then you go, oh, MSNBC said that. Oh, Dominion voting machine said that. Oh, yes, so that must be true then. Only someone who doesn't know anything about the actual subject, and that was just an example, could be any other topic, but only someone who doesn't know about that given topic would accept their way of fact-finding, so to say. They want you to do. They want you to have an opinion, their opinion, even on things that you are actually not qualified to make a judgment about. They don't want you to make your own judgment. They want you to just, have their opinion. They in most cases, it's very easy, just if you're not certain about something, if you haven't looked at it yourself, then, just don't go along with whatever anyone is telling you, and, but they want you to do that. They want you to go along with what they're telling you and say, oh, yes, you are Nazi because Facebook fact-checkers told me that you are Nazi, so I will fight you now because you're evil, yes. That's, of course that causes division, and that's exactly the kind of tactic actual Nazis would use, and they want you to do that, right? And they want you to be very vocal about opinions that aren't even your own, and that you haven't even made your own judgment about. Even if you were to make your own judgment about, you probably wouldn't know about enough about the background to actually make a fair judgment. You can simply solve it by, just simply not making a judgment about things you are not qualified to make a judgment about, and not echo whatever others tell you, right? What if it is a topic that you need to have an opinion about? And, maybe it's something that concerns you, maybe some political issue that concerns you, or maybe some religious issue that concerns you, or whatever. And because it concerns you, you need to make a fair judgment about it, and you need to form your own opinion. Because what do you do then? Because most people don't even know how to form their own opinions anymore, because they just rely on whatever Facebook tells them, right? So now it's gotten down to, people actually needing to be told how to actually form their own opinion, because they don't even know how to do that anymore, right? But of course, you can't be told to form your own opinion. That's something you really have to do yourself. But I can tell you one thing, the way I do it, if there is an issue, that concerns me in some way, some religious issue or political issue, whatever, and it concerns me in some way, and I need to be informed about it, and need to know about it, and need to get to the bottom of something, and need to know what is the truth regarding something, at least, what is something that I would consider the truth, and because I need to make some kind of at least personal judgment about it, if I'm in a situation where I have to make a personal judgment about it, yet it is maybe something that I don't know too much about. So how do I find out the truth? So the way I do it is just very simple. Whatever issue it might be, I just look at what there's always like two sides to every story, like just an example, like with Donald Trump, there's like the one guys who tell you he's a Nazi, and then there's like the other guys who tell you no, he's not a Nazi, he's actually the other guys who are maybe not National Socialists, but socialists, so basically each side is accusing the other side of being a socialist dictatorship, right? So in a situation like that, what do you do when you have, you don't, who do you believe? How do you determine who is right? But that was just an example. It could also be any other issue. Like, okay, I'm intentionally picking topics that are quote-unquote controversial, right? So another example would be Islam. Muslims tell you Islam is the only true religion, and non-Muslims tell you, no, it's a fake religion, don't believe it, it's all fake, and Muhammad just made it all up. So who do you believe? Maybe you're about to convert to Islam, and of course, if you want to convert to Islam, you need to know are you actually converting to the one true religion or not, right? So, and then you have those two factions that tell you completely opposite things. So, whom do you believe? So it's very easy, the way I do it is I just look at both sides, listen what both sides tell me, and then I look at which side is actually portraying the other side accurately, right? I already listened at what both sides have to say. It's relatively easy to tell which side is portraying the other side accurately and which side isn't, because usually there is one side that is really, really not portraying the other side accurately, and then it will become obvious very fast. But of course, in some cases, it might be that, neither side is portraying the other side accurately, or that both sides are portraying the other side accurately. But, it just, goes back to you having to do your research and you having to form your own opinion, and eventually you will form your own opinion, and, you might not arrive at the objective, actual truth, but if you make an effort to really look at it yourself, and you don't even have to spend too much time on it, like I said, just look at a few things that side says, and look at a few things that other side says. The only important thing is that you really actually have to look at what they are saying, right? So, like when it's a religion, you actually, if it's like Christianity versus Islam or whatever, you really would have to actually look at the Bible and the Quran, right? You don't have to read the entire book, just look at something where, for example, the Quran references the Bible, and then you compare that and see if it really portrays the Bible accurately, just as an example, point is that you would actually have to look at the source material, so in that example it would be the Bible and the Quran, right? You don't have to look at it a lot, you just have to compare them and actually look at them yourself. What you must not do is go by whatever someone tells you the Bible or the Quran would say. You would actually have to look at the Bible and the Quran yourself, right? So that's just as an example to get that point across, that of course you cannot go by whatever the other side tells you. For example, if you ask okay, let's stick with Islam. So you want to know if Islam is the true religion of Christianity is the true religion, right? Just as an example. So of course you cannot go by whatever a Christian tells you how Islam would be, nor could you go by whatever a Muslim tells you how Christianity would be, right? So you would actually have to look at the Quran and the Bible yourself. Not a lot, just enough to actually form your own opinion. And it's the same with every other topic. Don't go by however the other side portrays the other side. Just actually do look at both sides and look at their sources. You don't have to look at all their sources, and you don't have to read entire books. All you have to do is just look at the actual things each side is saying, and in most cases you don't have to spend too much time. It will get obvious soon enough. But most people are not even used to doing that anymore. They're not even used to looking at things themselves anymore and forming their own opinions. They find it so much more convenient to have other people form their opinions for them, and that's why we have all that mess. That we're in such a mess now. Yeah.